Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Friday night, Friday, the 6th of Safar, 1447, 1st of August, 2025. This Majlis took place after the Esha Salat at Masjid Ashraf in Lenasia, Johannesburg, South Africa. Our Hazrat Wala starts off by saying, this is my personal copy and diary. You know, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, you know, what do I tell you people? Buzrugo ka rang alag. The style and the color of the Buzrugan-e-Din is much different. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, you would hardly find him in something like Sher Shairi, in this poetry, etc. But in the Ash'ar, definitely there is athar and there is effects. But it is not long-lasting and it is not deep. Hazrat Shah Wasiullah Sahab's mizaj was much different. And Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab, his was much different. He would say that, okay, Maulana, you've got much work. You can leave now. And once I used to leave, then he would start with his Ash'ar, etc. But the great luminaries there, Maulana Abrarul Haq, Maulana Habibur Rahman, Azmi, they used to come and sit in the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab. And the essence of the share that Hazrat Wala quoted there is that when something comes out from the heart, it only then does it touch other hearts. You know, after Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab passed away, I made ruju and I struck up my relationship with Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab. And people even objected at that time, and they said, you were Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab and now you were Maulana Muhammad Ahmad. Then I said to them that whatever I found with Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, I found the very same thing at the feet of Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab. Yes, the style, the andaz, the rang of all are different, but you would find that same thing there. Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab used to start off. The entire night would go. It would reach the next morning, all in Sher Shairi. And then he would say to me before he could even start, Maulana, you've got much work. It's better that you leave. Hazrat Tanwi Rahimahullah himself used to listen to the Ash'ar of Hazrat Khaja Sahab. You know, on one occasion, I entered the private chamber, our Hazrat Wala is saying, of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab. And he was pacing up and down and he was addressing himself. Chupir shudi hafiz, as mehkada bayrun shu, rindi wa hawasna ki dar ahde shabab ola, apne ko sunate the. He was rebuking, reprimanding himself. And what was he saying? That you have become old now. You know, if some type of these things, etc., are done in youth, etc., okay, understood, but you have become old. Up to aao, Allah ki taraf, now at least come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To apne ko dant rahe the. He was rebuking, reprimanding himself. You know, our Buzrugan-e-Din, when they used to reach a certain age, maybe something like 60 or this or that, they would then go into solitude completely. And our Mashayikh, they used to continuously carry on making bayan and giving waz, etc. Now, all the Mashayikh, they came and they sat in front of him because of his batin, because of the ilm of the batin. So our Buzurgan-e-Din were always in the fikr of their own islah. So Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab was saying these couplets. He was rebuking himself. He was crying. And at that time I happened to enter into his private chamber. So this is this path. to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, apne ko jhukana, that you have to humble yourself completely and totally. What did Hazrat Tanvi do in front of Hazrat Haji Imdadullah? He humbled himself completely and totally. Jisne mitaya apna namo nisha, haft iqlim ka bana sulta. The one who humbled himself completely and totally, he had been then become the king. This is very, very famous, that a person has Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab was very hard or harsh. However, he was very, very soft and humble. Apne ko mitaye hue. He had completely erased himself, completely and totally. Today, there's kibr, there's this pride, and there's this ujub, self-conceitedness. This is absolutely dangerous. The ulama have to humble themselves, and they have to put their knowledge at one side. How great Hazrat Sayyid Sulaiman Nadwi was, how great Maulana Abdul Majid Daryabadi was, but all of them came and humbled themselves in front of Hazrat Tanvi. Hazrat Gangohi, such a great personality, humbles himself in front of Hazrat Haji Imdadullah. Our Hazrat Wala reads the ash'ar in the couplets, saying that earthen pot that is connected to the oceans, tell me, will there be any shortage in the water that leads up to that earthen pot? This is exactly the example of the Ahlullah. They are connected directly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They had completely humbled themselves. Self-effacement, annihilation of oneself. It is then that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them with that ulum and that ma'arif. Hazrat Maulana Qasim Sahab used to say that I went to Hazrat Haji Imdadullah not because of his amal, I went because of his ilm. So it was because of this. Then after that, all the allamas, all the people, they humble themselves in front of these mashayikh. We make mehnat in our ilm, in our learning, etc. But in this regard, which I am speaking about now specifically, there is no mehnat that is taking place. But when we do this here, purity, such a type of purity would come into that ulum and that knowledge. So that knowledge then, that these Ahlullah and these great men of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then receive, it is not rasmi and customary knowledge. Rather, it is that knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with that great wealth, that dawlat, that nisbat, that connection with Him. Ilm ladunni, knowledge from the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of understanding this tariq and this path. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspire us to walk this path to Him. These ulama, all of them who became the hakiki ulama, the genuine ulama, what was it all about? They had the attention on their batin, and then that was their end. Allah Ta'ala bless us all with every type of khair, goodness and afiyat. Let us now make dua. رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَيْتَنَا وَهَبْ لَنَا مِن لَّدُنكَ رَحْمَةً إِنَّكَ أَنتَ الْوَهَّابُ. Allah Ta'ala accept our coming. Allahumma aati nafsi taqwaha wa zakkiha anta khayru man zakkaha anta waliyuha wa mawlaha. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka anta as-sami'ul alim wa tub alayna innaka anta at-tawwabur rahim. Bi hurmati sayyidin nabiyyil kareem sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam.